Hello everyone, and welcome to Storybox. Today, we have a powerful moral story from history about a just ruler and a brave Kazi. Let's begin. Once upon a time, Bengal was ruled by a sultan named Giasuddin Azam Shah. He was known throughout the land for being a kind, noble, and fair ruler who cared deeply for his people. The Sultan was also a skilled archer and loved to practice his craft. He would spend hours perfecting his aim, and it was a passion he took very seriously. One fateful day, while he was practicing as usual, a terrible accident happened. He drew his bow, took aim, and let an arrow fly. But this time, his arrow missed its intended target. It flew astray and tragically struck a young boy who was nearby, piercing his chest. The boy, who was the only son of a poor widow, died on the spot. Heartbroken and filled with grief, the widow was determined to seek justice for her son. She made her way to the court of the Kazi, the chief judge of the land. This Kazi was a man renowned for his unwavering honesty, his fearlessness, and his deep sense of duty. He listened to the widow's story with great sympathy. Understanding the gravity of the situation, the Kazi knew what he had to do, regardless of who was involved. He took a piece of parchment and wrote a summons, an official order to appear in court. But this was no ordinary summons. It was addressed to the Sultan of Bengal himself. He sent a messenger to deliver it to the palace. When the news spread that the Sultan had been summoned to court like a common citizen, the entire kingdom was in shock. No one could believe it. However, Giasuddin Azam Shah was a true leader. Without hesitation, he obeyed the Kazi's order and made his way to the court. He entered not as a king, but as a humble man, and stood before the judge with his head bowed in respect. When asked, he openly admitted his guilt in the tragic accident. After hearing the case, the Kazi delivered his verdict. He declared that the Sultan must pay a significant sum of money to the widow as compensation for her terrible loss. The Sultan immediately accepted the judgment and paid the fine in full, right there in the courtroom. Once the matter was settled, the Kazi finally stood up from his judge's seat. He turned to the Sultan and showed him the honor and respect due to a ruler. Then, holding up a cane he kept beside him, the Kazi said, "Your Majesty, I must tell you. If you had disobeyed the law today, I would have been forced to punish you with this very cane." The Sultan was deeply moved by the Kazi's incredible courage and commitment to justice. In response, he drew his own sword from its sheath. "And I must tell you, Honorable Kazi," the Sultan replied, "if you had hesitated in your duty to uphold the law today, for fear of my power, I would have punished you with this very sword." The Kazi broke into a bold smile, and the Sultan sheathed his sword. The entire court looked on, amazed by the profound integrity of both men. The Sultan then stepped forward and embraced the Kazi warmly. Their story became a legendary tale, a powerful symbol of how true justice stands above all and how courage is needed to uphold it. It reminds us that justice is truly the foundation of a peaceful and prosperous society. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to Storybox for more moral and historical tales. We'll see you next time.